Tate Chronicles now transmitting.
Welcome to the Tate Chronicles on Healthcare Now Radio. And now, here's your host, Jim Tate.
Good day, citizens of the free world, from border to border, coast to coast, and to all the ships at sea, bring you a warm welcome. This is your correspondent, Jim Tate, and thank you for tuning in to the Tate Chronicles. Join me as we cut through the fog that exists at the leading edge of healthcare technology. I'm really pleased today. My guest is Dr. Michael Kirchhoff. He's the Chief Innovation Officer at Cooper University Healthcare. He's a provider. He's an educator. He has a deep background in identifying the challenges in healthcare delivery and working on solutions. He's kind of seen these issues from many different sides. Dr. Kirchhoff, welcome to the Tate Chronicles.
Thank you, Jim. Pleasure to be here. And please call me Mike.
Okay, Mike. Today, the topic is related to your role as the Chief Innovation Officer at Cooper University Healthcare. In particular, the what's known as the New Jersey SDOH Hackathon 2025, Social Determinants of Health Hackathon. What is this hackathon and what's the goal of it? And does it happen every year? What can you tell me about it at a high level?
I can tell you lots of things about it. So this is our second one that we're doing. We're still getting our feet wet, learning how to do this. But it is the New Jersey Social Determinants of Health Hackathon 2025. The name could be a little misleading. We struggle with the name, and we'll get to that in a minute. But essentially, what we really wanted to do is take the concept of a hackathon where people get together to try to find solutions. And often it's in the case of finding solutions in technology or application development. But, you know, we talk about life hacks and other things too. I think the concept of the hackathon goes way beyond technology and application development. And we really wanted to take that connotation of the word and apply it to social determinants of health. So what this hackathon is instead of a standard hackathon where a bunch of people get together and have lots of Mountain Dew and pizzas and code for 48 hours straight,
right?
We do our hackathon over weeks. And not only do we do it over weeks, but we very much insist on there being not just technical folks as part of these teams, but also social folks, social scientists. So in our social determinants of health hackathon, we ask teams to have technical background and technical individuals, and then also individuals that are at the sharp end of healthcare, those that are out in the streets, in the homes, in our long-term care facilities, in our hospitals, in our ambulances, doing the actual work. And then they are the ones that are best positioned to understand what their friction points are, what are their barriers to care for the communities that are depending on them. And it's those individuals that we're asking, what are the problems you want solutions to? And then pairing them with technical folks to bring potential technical or application solutions to the work they're doing. So basically using data and technology to work smarter, not harder, and bring real value to the communities that these social workers, these social scientists are doing at the sharp end, caring for the communities that they care most about.
Well, let me ask you some kind of specific questions, Mike, about this. So if I was a clinical provider somehow involved in patient care, and I thought, well, you know, I might have an idea. I know there's a problem. I might have an idea of how to work on it and some type of application or solution. And just as an individual, I could apply to be part of the hackathon, and that would be, put together with somebody else to form a team, or would I need to bring a complete team?
You can do it either way. We're a big tent. We want folks with varied backgrounds. I feel very strongly that, you know, you don't know where the next great solution is going to come from. So we're very open to anybody. You do not need to have a technical background, or if you have a technical background, you don't need to have a social science background. The idea is that we see this hackathon not only to try to create solutions, but to also educate those that are interested in creating those solutions. So we're teaching social entrepreneurship. We're teaching how to do entrepreneurship in general. We're teaching how to do data analysis and application building, as well as also understanding what are the social determinants of health. What do folks need to know about the communities that don't have access to care or don't have equitable access to care, and how we can bend that curve. So if you're provider who's interested in, trying out an idea or bending the curve on how we provide care to these communities, we could either one of three things. One, we have several education tracks during the weeks that the hackathon is open. So that was one of the other reasons we didn't want to do it overnight or over a weekend.
Sure.
We wanted to have some time for teams to come in and learn and meet folks that do venture capital on how to do a pitch, meet folks that create development environments and do data analysis and see how you can do that with modern low-code, no-code tools, or meet the social scientists that are currently struggling to meet the needs of these communities and learn about each of these domains. So you could come and learn about it and do it yourself. You could come with a team, find folks that you work with that have the same passion about what it is that you want to fix, or join and we'll find you the folks that you need to round out your team. One of the things we're really working on this year, and hopefully in subsequent years that we do this, is a nice social application to help folks that are like-minded find team members to help them make viable solutions. So that was one of the main reasons we made this hackathon be over weeks instead of days, is because not only do we want those solutions, but we want to teach the next generation of those people that are going to find those solutions, the next generation of social entrepreneurs that are going to fix these problems. We wanted to give them the education they needed to think about those solutions that fix the problems that they've identified.
So you, this is the second year. Is the intent to be an annual program?
Yeah, we're looking for ways to keep it going and keep the funding.
Sure.
These things get expensive, but ideally, what we would really like is at a minimum do it every year. What I really would like to do is push this down. We could do a multi-tiered hackathon where we do high school, college, and professional teams. Right now, we have a lot of undergrads and grads as our teams. I really want to expand it in both directions, get pro teams in there really creating really smart apps and using artificial intelligence to bend the curve. But I also want to push this down. One of our great partners, the HIMSS Foundation, they do a lot of work in communities to teach healthcare information systems and certifications around that. And they've signed on to this mission of pushing this down also to those that don't have the technical background and helping us get the funding to teach these ideas from the high school on up. So the idea would be we'll do it annually, but I would love, I've had the privilege of working, coaching with First Robotics. I love that idea of having a tight curriculum to teach in a domain that's ready to go, and then a venue in which to then, have others see your ideas. And we can do the same thing here with social determinants of health, really help the next generation of social entrepreneurs not only see what the problems are in society, but see what tools are available for them to solve those problems. These new low-code, no-code environments and AI really democratize these technology tools so that you can very quickly, with minimal training, find solutions. And I feel that's an important story to teach not only for our current college and grad school folks, but also for the next generation coming up through high schools, really helping everybody see that these tools are available and you too can find the next solution to the problems facing society. And I would really love it to be not only annual, but I would love to have set up high school curricula around this to help educate those moving on, and not just for those going to college, but also getting those early entry-level certifications that HIMSS is helping us identify to get those workers out there. So not only do they have a living wage and a great career, but they're also helping find solutions for often the communities they've even come from.
For the 2025 cohort, when did applications open and when did they close? What was the timing of that period?
They're open now, and they're going to be open through the 17th of February.
Okay.
And the
Yeah.
final pitch will be on February 28th, and those winners from that cohort will go on to have an opportunity to pitch in front of venture capital at HIMSS in Las Vegas.
And so, yeah, we'll talk in detail about the HIMSS thing. I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to be there. Is this, I imagine you're using social determinants of health data from New Jersey, correct?
Correct.
Are the folks from different teams, do they have to be New Jersey residents?
They do not.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. One of the things, again, I like this idea of a big tent, and ideas can come from many walks of life and many areas. Our idea is to have people try to find solutions, hyper-focused solutions to hyper-focused issues in small locales, using data at least at the zip code level, if not the census tract level, and then ultimately creating solutions at the individual level once you have a viable product. But the idea is the problems of Camden, New Jersey, the problems of Jersey City, New Jersey, are not much different than the problems of Detroit or San Francisco or Denver, or name your city, name your locale, name your even rural areas. The idea is that it's a New Jersey focused event, but the idea is that the solutions we find should be transferable across the country. And this is another thing that we've sort of is in our DNA. When Cooper helped stand up the Camden Coalition, which is a national model for hotspotting and using wraparound services in communities to help individuals that need it most. The solutions they came up with, their mission was to then take these ideas and transplant them to other cities. And what we found when we worked with them is that while you feel very much like your local situation is very unique, when you start looking at the data, when you start looking at the friction points, there's often a lot of similarity between different cities or between cities and rural environments. Humans are humans. Humans have the same needs, regardless of where they are, regardless of the communities they're in. And by looking at data locally and at ground level, we are often finding solutions that are easily transferable to other areas. This is a nice thing about technology as opposed to brick and mortar. You set up a brick and mortar solution in one community, you've set up a brick and mortar solution in one community. You find a good lever that levers technology and data, and then export that lever to areas where there are people already struggling, they need more resources, and it's a force multiplier to then bring these solutions to those folks that are already doing that great work for those communities and making their work easier and more impactful. And the Camden Coalition has shown us that when we find solutions, those processes, it's people, process, and technology. When you have good process and good technology, you can give it to the people in other areas, and that lever becomes a force multiplier for them. And that's why, yes, it's a New Jersey Social Determinants of Health Hackathon. In the end, we're trying to find solutions that are transferable to communities not only across the United States, but perhaps across the world.
Sure. To our audience, if you just join us, I'm Jim Tate. And on this episode of the Tate Chronicles, I'm speaking with Dr. Michael Kirchhoff, of Cooper Union, about their Innovation Center and the Social Determinants of Health Hackathon. In the current group of folks that are going through this, Mike, have there been some applications or ideas that when you've seen them, you thought, whoa, I hadn't thought about that. That's a good idea. Yeah. Are you ever surprised? Yeah.
Yeah, so we haven't seen the ideas yet. We have our teams. They're forming. They're starting to interact with the tech stack. And for our current teams and previously, you don't have to use our tech stack. There's so many tools out there. One of our technical partners is Microsoft. Microsoft, as well as the other big cloud providers, they all have programs where you can interact with your tech stack for low or no cost, especially if you're doing it as a not-for-profit or as a student or in a .edu situation. There are many free applications out there in terms of data visualization, wireframing, etc. So what we're trying to do is get folks to think about the problem, and then they can use the environment we've created or other environments to make the pitch for the solution that they found. So I'll give you an example.
Okay.
One of our winners last year, the team was a team of college students. They were what they had found is that they had come from communities that they were the first generation going to college. They're paying their own way. That's sort of how what I did. I was the first generation to go to college. For my family, I had to pay for everything, right? And when you're down at ground level, seeing that, you understand what the problems are. And one of the things they identified was, like them, I had to work at night through college. They're working, right? So you're working and you're trying to get to class, and you're not owning a car because cars are really expensive, and you got to get to class, you got to get to work. Public transportation, while really great, is not a solution for everybody, and Uber is expensive. And what they found was that there was a community of folks that were like them, and some owned cars and some didn't. Some had availability cars at times, and then other times they didn't. And what they did is they saw a need for a rideshare program where they filled a niche that Uber didn't, in terms of, hey, I'm going to class anyway. Rather than you wasting an hour on the bus, we'll coordinate drives so that we can help each other out and get to class on time. And that didn't really even require a tech stack to pitch that idea. Now they're currently finding funding to build that out. But the point is, it's the idea that matters, and the technology can follow on later. Finding the pain point, finding the friction is first and foremost the goal of the SDOH Hackathon. And then once you find the problem, there are many solutions that you can pull from your toolbox. What I really don't like is tools in search of a problem.
Yes.
Really, problems. Identify the problems, and then we will help you find the right tools to solve that. And part of that might be using data visualization tools and geospatial data and some of the tools in the tech stack to make a good problem statement, or look at the problem geospatially. Or it might be creating the application or building out how the data flows for particular application development. But the point is, anywhere along that continuum, you can use technology to work smarter, not harder. And with new AI tools, that's becoming easier and easier to do. And with these new low code or no code tech stacks, we're really democratizing that technology and access to technology for those who are doing the work and can best see the solutions.
Mike, that sample that you just described of a ride share for students going to school, or ride share for access to healthcare, that's a solution that is much bigger than just the healthcare domain.
Yep.
That's kind of across the board, and that's why a lot of the, of course, social determinants of health are just social determinants of everything.
Agreed.
No doubt about that. Well, you mentioned the New Jersey data sets. What's in those data sets? What's available?
So with great partner, the New Jersey Health Information Network, managed by NJII, which is a subsidiary of NJIT. They manage the data network for the state with respect to the Health Information Exchange. They've been great partners. They do a lot of great work across the state, getting data to researchers to really help improve the health of New Jerseyans. They've created some data sets for us that are completely masked and de-identified, which is super helpful. But what we're getting there is we're getting some admission, discharge, and transfer data. We're getting discrete data from visits in terms of diagnoses and doctors, et cetera. So you get to see sort of how people are accessing care in the state, and the kind of problems that they're looking for solutions in from the healthcare system. Obviously, there's much better and richer data sets out there, but the idea is to get people interested in it. And then when you get an idea, we'll help you move on to the next step in terms of, is this something you want to pursue? And if so, we'll get you the right mentors. We'll help find you the dollars to do proof of concept. And then you get your proper, your HIPAA certifications and your data use agreements, and and then move on to the next step. But the idea is to have some idea of what that data looks like, because we're trying to be open to high school through professional coder spectrum. When
Sure.
you're just starting out, you don't even know what data is, what's there, and what you can
Right.
use. So it's a representative enough sample to get people thinking about how can I visualize this data, and we have lectures to help people do that. And one of again, I've talked about the Camden Coalition. Aaron Truchill, who's one of the data scientists that work for them, does a great session for our participants around understanding data and how to use the data to understand what the problems are and how to visualize it. So there's enough there to kind of get your feet wet, but because it's de-identified, and rightfully so, it's not going to be the final. You would never build a final product off that data. It's
Sure.
to think about what's out there and then move on to that next step.
Well, does anything like this exist on a national level, or you think we'll get to that?
Yeah, so there are really good research and de-identified data sets out there. HIMSS has ones that they have access to. Epic, we're an Epic shop, but but other EMRs have research data sets that they aggregate across their instances. So there's lots of great stuff out there. One of the things we want to do in the Innovation Center here at Cooper is also curate those types of data sets to help accelerate research and application development in this space.
Now, we are recording this basically in the middle of February 2025. And so I guess we're leading up that 3 teams are going to be finalists in this. Is that correct? And have those 3 teams been selected yet? We're finalists.
No, they have not. Our registration is still open. We don't even have all our teams. Our lectures are moving forward. If you join late, don't worry. We record all the lectures. You can catch up and be up to speed. Those teams will have the opportunity to sort of interact with free and publicly available tools, as well as our own tech stack, as well as dealing with other cloud providers. And again, bring your own technology, and we're fine with that. And then they will build out either the solution or a wireframe of their solution, or just do a good pitch on the idea that they have. Part of that is training around good pitch presentations, etc. And then those teams will pitch their ideas on February 28th in Camden at our medical school at the CMSRU, Cooper Medical School of Rowan University. Rowan University is our academic partner for Cooper University Healthcare, and we run a medical school with them in Camden. Medical schools provided the infrastructure for us to then do the pitch competition. And out of our 15 to 20 teams, we'll pick the best ones, and those teams will have the opportunity then to pitch on the national stage at HIMSS in Las Vegas.
I'm looking forward to that. I believe HIMSS has a track this year called Emerge, EMERGE, which is kind of a perfect title for these kind of innovations. I think that's going to be on Wednesday afternoon, and
that's exactly where we'll be. We'll be on the Emerge stage.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, Mike, and I think it'll be part of a group of folks is going to hopefully be able to interview all 3 of the finalists, and including the final one who stands on stage. So I'm really looking at that quite a bit. Looking forward to that. If folks want to learn more about this whole process, well, first of all, I know there's a website URL, which is, excuse me, cooperhealth.edu/Cooper-Innovation-Center. But you mentioned that there are some recorded videos. Where are they available if people just want to go take a look at some things?
So if you go to cooperhealth.edu and click on Innovation Center, you can see all about the Innovation Center. You can access the hackathon from there. You can also see an introductory video we did about our mission, related to the hackathon and what we're trying to accomplish. Around the educational things in terms of the tech stacks that are available and data visualization and pitch presentations, that's part of the hackathon. So sign up for the hackathon. You'll get access to our Teams environment where all that information is stored. What we're trying to do is create a catalog of those learnings and then reproduce that in other locales or at a nationwide level to, again, try to get folks, get those social entrepreneur ideas going, get people excited about healthcare information technology and the lever that it can be for the communities that need it the most. And as this grows, as I hope it will, looking for partners to spread this across the nation and to create a catalog of those. So right now, they're only available to participants, but the idea is to create a turnkey solution for folks who want to get their areas engaged in this work about finding solutions for the communities that need it the most, and while simultaneously teaching folks an important skill set that can go on to become a career and provide a living wage for many, many folks.
Well, great. Well, to our audience, we're totally out of time. Thanks for joining me on this episode of the Tate Chronicles. I offer a special salute to my guest today, Dr. Michael Kirchhoff. Mike, thanks for coming aboard today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate talking about this. Looking forward to talking at HIMSS and looking forward to giving your listeners chapter 2 of this.
Okay.
Hearing a little bit about the winners and what they're doing and how they're really affecting change across the communities they're impacting.
Absolutely. You can find more information on this show's program page at healthcarenowradio.com. That's healthcarenowradio.com. Until we meet again, here's wishing you smooth sailing and safe harbors.
Tate Chronicles transmission ending now.